Good afternoon. My name is Hamza Warfa. I'm a co-founder of BanQu. We have ambitious goal of ending extreme poverty around the world. Today, there's 2.5 billion people around the world who live under extreme poverty. There are 60 million refugees around the world who constitute 1 out of 122 people. And if this was a population of a country, it will be the 24th largest country in the world. The biggest challenge facing those who live under extreme poverty is lack of identity. I was one of them. In 1993, I fled from the civil war in Somalia with my family, came to the Dadaab refugee campus in Kenya. When we came to the camp, we had no value as human beings. We were given a number, and we became a statistical figure. We want to solve that problem, and I will let my colleague take it from here.
Hi, all. Thanks for coming. My name is Ashish Gadnis. It's like hashish, if you've smoked any. All those who laughed, talk to me later. OK, anyway. So the quick thing I want to kind of walk you through in the next few minutes is a live use case. And it's just to set the stage. Think about it if you're the mother in Aleppo last night that was bombed out because of the Syrian civil war, and you showed up at a refugee camp on the border with Greece or Turkey. Typically what will happen is you have no identity. You're a nobody when you interact with the UN agencies or Mercy Corps or whoever. So what I'm actually going to walk you through is how BanQu, which is built on the blockchain platform on Ethereum, works, and it creates a digital identity for the billions of people who absolutely have nothing today so they can rebuild their credit profiles and get out of poverty. So what I'm going to do here is, if you can look at the phone, I'm going to quickly simulate the fact that Hamza with his family in the middle of the night came to the refugee camp, and I'm going to quickly create an identity for Hamza since he doesn't have one. And the way it works is very basic. I can easily assign them an email ID. This works on a very low fidelity internet connection. It works very easily with any sort of a browser. The refugee families or the people in extreme poverty don't have to have any sort of a device. So I'm just going to give Hamza a quick identity here. And I'm going to basically allow him to then create his own selfie. And the power of the blockchain and our proprietary patent-pending algorithms, it allows me to create a selfie-based identity that is completely immutable, and it allows me to access it from anywhere in the world. So I'm going to go ahead and create an identity for Hamza. And the reason why we decided to do this live and not create any identities in advance is because we wanted to show you the power of what's going on. So I'm going to actually ask Hamza to take a quick selfie of his.
Smile. So.
Yeah, these Somalis have great teeth. Hey, so I have Hamza. Seriously, they should be models or something. But and I'm going to give him the identity here. And the way it works is very, very basic. I have his address, I have his email address, and you can attach anything in the future, right? You can attach a biometric, iris scan, fingerprint. We're talking about people who have left with nothing in the middle of the night. And having worked in places like Congo myself, I grew up in a slum in Mumbai. I know what it is to not actually have an identity. So I'm just going to create a quick identity profile so that Hamza now is part of the blockchain-based trust network. And what has happened is now, if you can see Hamza's profile, if he looks at it, his selfie is now part of the digital blockchain e-identity, which nobody can ever steal from him, and he can now be treated with dignity and respect. Now, as a UN agency, I can quickly send him an invite. And the reason why the invite becomes critical, everybody here in the audience, is because that identity of that person is absolutely critical. You guys all have driver's license, right? But if you're that person who showed up in the middle of nowhere from a refugee camp, you don't have any identity, how do you interact with that person? So that's where BanQu comes into play, is we've created a digital signature that then now becomes immutable for that person. Let's see. So here's actually, he should show up on this profile here. I'm going to actually show you the actual money transfer that happens now with his identity. The way it works is that when I'm going to give him some sort of an aid or some sort of a packet of information when it comes to food or I can give him an immunization shot, or I can give him some health insurance, the aid agency now recognizes that he is a valid sender, and I can say this is for insurance or things like food packets and things like that. And what happens is the BanQu network will create an identity profile that allows me to now transfer this aid to that person. And from an agent perspective, I'm able to now look up that person's information and create an e-identity transaction, which then will show up on my connections network and will start showing all the transfers that I've done to Hamza real time. So if you actually look at the transfer profile that we've created on the blockchain, you'll actually see that Hamza got a $100 food packet, he got an immunization record, and every transaction is part of his BanQu profile, which doesn't exist in the world today. So if he went from one refugee camp to another refugee camp, now he's treated with dignity. The reason is because every single transaction that happens to that refugee is captured on the BanQu blockchain network. And the last thing I'll show you is this will kick in live. You're looking at a live blockchain network. It takes every 10 minutes, as you guys know, to refresh. And it'll start showing you the actual blocks of the blockchain. So it should pull up here in a second. So we're up. There you go. There's the live blockchain that captured Hamza's transaction information. Thank you, everybody.